Hi everyone and welcome back to Story Talks. Tess here with Curly, and in this video we are going to be talking to Curly about poetry and verse, but first we have a question from a young reader.
Hi Curly, my name is Iona. Is Been your book written in verse and why did you write it that way? Bye!
Oh, that's such a great question. Thank you so much. And ni Tarawa Borengiling. It's a pleasure to be beaming to you on Tarawa land. It is a book written in verse. Verse is a type of poetry, almost like song in a way. And I chose to write this poem using verse as a verse novel, as a narrative poem, almost like a story poem, because I love poetry. I also really enjoyed the idea of taking little snippets of Bindi's life, inspired by my life, and connected with the people around me. And placing those into poems. Poetry for me is the most concise form of storytelling. I love the wordplay, I love the alliteration, rhyme, and drawing all of those different techniques together means that I'm able to tell a story more effectively. So for me, this book had to be a verse novel, and I'm very excited to be writing a sequel for Bindi at the moment using the same kind of poetry.
Oh, I'm really excited. There's going to be a sequel. Okay, thank you, Curly. Curly, your book Kindred, which is here, such a gorgeous book. It's a collection of poems. To read it, it feels like going through a diary or a photo album, and some of the poems feel like they were created over a long time and others just written on the spot. Do you take a pad and paper everywhere you go in case a poem just pops up?
Such a good question. Kindred was written over 6 years, so some of those poems were poems that took a long time to create, and others happened on the spot. I believe when I'm writing a story that a poem or a story is brewing, and during that time I don't write. I like to just let it almost create like a big cloud, and then like a storm, it pours straight onto the page. So the Incredible Freedom Machines, which I think is on the shelf behind you, Tess, was written in one day, but I'd been brewing that story for maybe nearly 2 years. So sometimes they take a while, sometimes they're instant. And I definitely always have a beautiful little notebook with me in my bag with a black 0.4 outline marker. It's my favorite kind of pen to write with. And I like to take them everywhere. And if you're an artist or a storyteller, I encourage you to also take your own notebook and get to recording your own ideas.
Sounds like you never know when and where the inspiration may come.
Definitely don't. There's a really beautiful poet who talks about poems as if they are thundering through a field, and sometimes she has to run quick enough to catch up to them, and other times they'll thunder past her and she'll have to grab the poem and slap it back on the page and it will show up backwards. So yeah, I think you have to be in flow with the poem for sure.
In flow with the poem. Is there a secret to writing a good poem?
I think it has to be a truth-telling poem. And what I mean by that is it has to be a poem that feels really good to write and explores ideas or themes or feelings that feel like they need to come out in the world. So often when I'm writing a poem, I'll write two poems. The first will be the idea of the work that I wanted to include, but maybe it's not a deeper version of the poem. And then I really sit on that idea, or I pull out parts of that original poem and then I rewrite a second poem. And usually it's the second poem that feels more like what I truly wanted to say. So I think a good poem is a truth-telling poem. It talks about things that are important to you. I think also a good poem includes a few different techniques. You might like to include that sound play with alliteration, or perhaps rhyme, or personification, giving something within your poem a personality. It might also include, just different techniques, metaphor and imagery, painting the picture with your words so that your reader really understands what you're talking about, and then they get to feel that poem in their belly when they read it.
Feel the poem in their belly. That's a sign of a good poem, isn't it? When you can feel it in your belly.
Yeah.
Well, now we have a little activity for everyone watching, and it involves creating a poem about your family. And I'm going to hand over to Curly because she's going to help us understand what it is that we're going to do and then give us a bit of inspiration.
Thank you, Tess. So I want you to have a think about your family, all of the wonderful characters within your family, and to create a poem describing the spirit of each of them. You might use nicknames or even draw on the language that you speak within your family, and paint a family portrait with your words. It's going to be a Fam Bam poem. And I'm going to read you my Fam Bam poem from Bindi. Lots of the characters in Bindi are based on my very own family. So see if you can pick up on what is truth and what is fiction. And then quickly grab a pen and a piece of paper. Of course, you already have one on you because you're authors and illustrators, and get to creating your own poem. This is Fam Bam from Bindi. At home, we call Gumawang Mum. At hockey, we call her Rosie or Coach, because when all the kids are shouting Mum at theirs, it gets a bit confusing. Rosie has big hair, tight ringlets of saltwater swarf. She was grown on this country, but it's not hers. Her kind eyes have seen too much, but she doesn't let it show. Mum, Rosie, is warm butter sliding down toast. She melts people with her kindness, leaves them feeling fuller. Curryung, Dad, Turtle, is a jack of all trades, according to Mum. Born here, he's a gardener, a storyteller and a thinker. Taller than all of us, he has a grand view of things. We kids turn to him often for answers. Omeo Gidyoung is my eldest brother, 4 years older. He's 15, and he's been here before. He loves his bees and plants, loves to cook, is an athlete, just like Mum's brother. Omeo is learning the land from Dad and Pop. My sister Elsie Gulwin is the golden child. Not even double digits, she has Mum wrapped around her finger. Little, like Rosie, she's a speck on top of her thoroughbred, ex-racer. Elsie, the athlete and pancake enthusiast, ever curious, she loves to ask questions of the world. I am Bindi, the one in the middle. I am 11 years old. Growing here, I am an empath of the land, lover of art, horses, and hockey. Each day, a new adventure unfolds for us all.
Yay!
Thanks, everyone. I can't wait to read your beautiful poetry about your wonderful families. Get writing, have a deep think about the magic of all of those wonderful characters and spirits in your family, and be sure to share it with the people around you. Reading poetry is such a joy. Down soon.
And reading your poetry is such a joy, Curly. Thank you so much for joining us at Story Talks. Have you had a fun time?
Oh, I've had the best time. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Well, good luck with all your books that are due to come out soon. And I hope everyone has a copy of Bindi because it really is such a marvelous read. Thank you for joining us at Story Talks today, everyone, and happy storytelling. Bye for now.
Bye for now.